Hey guys, Icy Cat here. So the beta for Black Ops 3 just closed, and I had a chance to play it since they decided to open the beta up to anyone, even if they didn't have a key or a pre-order reserved. Figured why not? What's to lose? After having spent a couple of days taking it for a test spin, I learned one thing about Siege. It can't get here fast enough. Here's my take on why Rainbow Six will be far better than the latest Call of Duty. Pretty bold statement to make, right? Yeah, but keep in mind it's all subjective commentary. This is just my personal view on it, and as such should be treated as opinion. The thing with Call of Duty games is that they just keep getting faster and faster. It's not even just speed, it's sheer craziness too. It's a military-themed shooter for the ADD generation. It's like a collection of constant shiny things to pull your attention every 2 seconds. The fast-paced multiplayer action never leaves you time to think, only time to react. It's not that strategy and tactics can't be a part of the game, but they take such a backseat to other concepts like survival, rushing, reflexes, and aggression. There's just little time for anything else. This game doesn't just encourage lone wolf-style gameplay, it rewards it. There's precious little need to work as a team. Again, it's not that you can't, but it's just such a background element due to the speed and flow of the game that it really doesn't leave time to do much other than react as fast as possible and murder as much as you can in between respawns. Your life is a throwaway. I mean, why do you even need to be careful or cautious? Why would you need to communicate and organize as a team? As long as you get 2 kills for each one time you respawn, you'll come out ahead in the end anyway. Sure, doing this will kill me, but that's okay because I'll be back in the action in 2.4 seconds anyway. Call of Duty multiplayer is a complete pub-stomping, try-hard, meat-grinder murder spree. And the game is just over the top with all kinds of reaction-based craziness. I mean, look at this. Wall running, double jumping, chain-based movement systems, shooting while power sliding around corners, changing directions in mid-air, thrust dodging, you name it. People said Call of Duty was getting stagnant as it was the same old thing over and over, so they had to start getting crazier and crazier to keep people interested and make it feel fresh. So starting with last year's Advanced Warfare, it became all about these crazy ways to move as fast as possible. COD has also always had the problem of speed kills, even before movement stopped making sense. The term quickscoping was born in this game after all. That's where someone using a sniper rifle can run around and aim through the scope with as little as 1 frame of animation before pulling the trigger, yet getting the benefit of aiming as opposed to hip firing. It can oftentimes happen so fast that you barely saw the gun even come up to a firing animation. What's more, people began doing this while jumping in the air and pulling off shots like this. They call it sniping, but what it really is exhibition shooting. This year, Call of Duty introduced specialists. Sounds a bit like operators, doesn't it? Each specialist has one of 2 special abilities you can select, though unlike Rainbow Six, you can have as many of the same specialists on the field at a time as you want. These special gadgets are things like gravity spikes to clear out a large area of effect, or a kind of thermal vision to see through walls and smoke. There's also a bow and arrow gadget with explosive warheads, and many others. The absolute worst offender is this one gadget that lets you teleport back in time to where you were 3 seconds prior. That way you just kind of blink out and appear out of the line of fire, maybe even behind the guy that was shooting at you if that's where he was. Yeah, Call of Duty boils down to murder as much as possible, as fast as possible, while reacting with lightning reflexes to everything, and if you die, to spawn back into the action as fast as possible as well. I know there's plenty of people that buy Call of Duty games every year. Lots of people love the concept of the faster the better. They love the competition. They really get into a military-themed arcade shooter with the heavy emphasis on arcade. This game has a huge following. I can't deny that. It's very popular. Can't deny that either. But here's why for me, and people like me, Rainbow Six is far superior. The game is way more grounded in reality. Sure, you can say some things that have gotten less realistic in Siege as compared to older Rainbow Six titles. But when I say it's more realistic than games like Call of Duty, what I'm talking about is the overall flow of the game. It isn't reaction-based in the sense of how fast are your reflexes. It's more about how well are you executing your team's plan. It all changes with slower movement speed and no respawning. Without being tossed into the constant die, respawn spin cycle, you have to slow down and be careful. Your life is no longer disposable. Your actions have weight, meaning, and consequence. With slower movement speed, you can't go crazy moving all over the map like some kind of G.I. Joe ninja on steroids. Playing as a lone wolf in a game like Rainbow Six doesn't work well. Sure, there's a place for a roamer on the team, but you need to do so while working with the team for the best chance of success. If everyone is just doing their own thing and the coordination isn't happening, that team is going to get wrecked. In this game, planning, tactics, and strategy actually matter. I've always thought of the Rainbow Six games as the thinking man's shooter. You have to come up with a plan on the fly and execute it because the overall pace of the game isn't 100 miles an hour. Some people think Rainbow Six games are too slow. The franchise has always occupied that nice space between hyper-realistic shooters like Arma and total arcade shooters like Halo. That middle ground is where Rainbow hits its stride and offers a breath of fresh air that not many other games can deliver. The new operator system has some things I'm not super crazy about, most notably predetermining which weapons I can take. But there is a very deep level of strategy going on with the operator gadgets. Which operators get taken or left behind versus the opposing team's selection mixes things up in really interesting ways. Some operators complement others or fill in for gaps. Overall, the system really does become a game of chess as far as which pieces the teams have on the board and how they can be used against each other. The opportunity for strategy in this system is very deep. Then there's the destruction. Battlefield already uses destruction in cool ways, but it's on a larger scale and isn't as specific as what Siege is doing. In a CQB game, having the ability to put holes in walls, floors, or ceilings is a game changer. You're not stuck with predefined lines of sight and routes through maps. Guy camping in the corner waiting for you to step through the door? No problem. Take out that wall he's snuggled up against and drop him through the new opening. Because the game moves at a slower pace than arcade shooters, you have the option to adapt to these kinds of scenarios on the fly and execute these kinds of improvised plans easily, all because you have a moment to think and adapt. Taking a step back from PvP multiplayer, Siege has by far the superior co-op experience. Terrorist Hunt blows away Call of Duty Zombies any day of the week. In fact, it's better than any other co-op experience out there, in my opinion. Other games often do this wave-based survival experience for a co-op mode, which is what COD Zombies really boils down to. How many rounds can you survive? Yeah, but what's the point? High score? What is this, Donkey Kong? Terrorist Hunt gives you actual objectives to complete. Defuse the bomb, rescue the hostage, take out all the bad guys. There's completion to a level, a thing you're supposed to do other than see how many rounds it takes you to die. Terrorist Hunt has always been a staple to Rainbow Six games in general, but now with the Siege generator and AI management systems in place, Terrorist Hunt is on a whole other level. Mixing and matching random variables to give you a different time of day, map selection, objective type, objective location within a level, random locations for traps, barricades, and fortifications. Factor in other things like random AI behaviors, types, and distribution, as well as dynamic AI that responds to your actions and reroutes itself and changes behavior to things like defusing a bomb. I mean, there's just no co-op experience like that anywhere out there. Then there's all the little details. The animations of how you move a hostage by protecting them with your body and guiding them as you walk. The realistic weapons and attachments. The flow of the level design, the amazing destruction. The way every explosion feels gritty and somehow more real than in other games. The unique attack and defend concept, the focus on designing the game from the ground up in order to maximize replayability. It all has so much more depth and substance than a game like Call of Duty. What do you think? Does Siege offer something new and different than other games it competes with? Or do you think it doesn't stand out enough? Share in the comments down below, or come on over to the forums and subreddit to talk about it there. Please like and subscribe to stay up to date on all the latest news, info, and commentary on Siege. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.